So guess what? We have a brand new update from the Outriders dev team right here. Yes, we are getting a brand new patch early next week. It's going to be including changes to the online matchmaking. Finally, some brand new updates to the Broodmother, something that we've all been requesting, and also new changes to the Pryomancer. But most notably, they asked about potential changes to the anti-duplication system that they want feedback from you all about. So let's dive into this post from the dev team right now. Hey everyone, what's happening? Open World Games here. Hope you're doing good. And yes, we are revisiting the world of Outriders right now. Let's get straight into the post here from the community manager of Outriders. Let's talk about it right now. So they go on to say this right here. Topic for discussion, anti-duplication improvements. It says here, it's now been a little while since we've implemented our changes to the legendary drop rate system, and we are able to see on a global analytics level the beneficial impact these changes have made. Let me know if you guys are feeling those changes, by the way. Now it says analytics also indicate that the anti-duplication system is working well across the global population. As mentioned previously, it does not guarantee that you'll get a unique item with every drop, but it does appear to be significantly reducing the time until players receive new uniques. Nice! Furthermore, they say this, there's also one outstanding question that we wanted to get everyone's thoughts on. The system currently re-rolls a dropped legendary item once if it identifies that you already have said item on your character in your inventory or stash. Furthermore, it says, this system, however, can make it a bit harder to farm for an improved version of a particular item if you are specifically relying on that item for farming. Here's an example that they give. You have a death shield equipped, but want to farm to get a better death shield roll. The death shield, however, is a key component of your current build, which means that removing it from your character or stash in order to improve its drop chance may not be viable, since it's doing so cripples your build. Interesting. Now here's the proposal for an improvement to the system. It says the anti-duplication system ignores any gear you currently have equipped when checking whether you currently own an item. Interesting. Now there's pros to this and there's cons. Let's go over that. For the pros, it says this would make it easier to farm for improved versions of your currently equipped gear. The cons say this, the hunt for unique items could become a little longer again, as your currently equipped gear wouldn't trigger the anti-duplication system, i.e. 8 items would be added to the do not reroll pool. So sound off what you guys think about this. Now it says note, as this is a global and invisible back-end system, there is no way to turn it on or off on a player-by-player basis. A pick and choose your own reward option is also not feasible within the design of the game. Such a change wouldn't be present in our current patch, but it could potentially be worked into the patch thereafter. So what do you think? Shall we make this change to the system? Let us know in the dedicated subthread. So yeah, I'll include those links in the description below, but let's see some comments here from the community already and see what people are feeling about this potential change. We have Eliezer MD who says the following. He says, I am supportive of this change because I think the anti-duplicate current system hurts hunting for the items you really want, and the proposed change is unlikely to change the time to find missing items by that much. I honestly thought the initial system didn't include equipped items because the current system incentives weird situation of not keeping the item you want if the rules aren't quite right, or hunting for a weapon on a different character. I don't know if the current system considers items on other characters. I think the proposed change would be more intuitive. Sound off if you agree with him right now. Now we do have Certified here, who actually is on the polar opposite of this discussion. He says this, I don't see how that will help really. I mean, you will still get duplicates either way, as the system will re-roll anything you have for a random drop, right? I think the wording of the mechanic and the player base not reading properly is what's causing the confusion, so it's a no from me. I would have just called it a re-roll system. Anti-duplication just confused the people who didn't read what it involves. Getting slightly more armor or firepower on something you already have will do next to nothing anyways. Add an item lock feature as well. How it didn't arrive in launch, I'll never know. Essential for any loot game where collection is a big part of it. So, you know, I have heard this time and time again. You guys at this point, in my opinion, are more concerned about that feature more than anything else. You guys want to see the item lock system in play, and then also the timers for the expeditions either removed or changed up, something done with expeditions. Now let's talk about that next patch, which is coming up here early next week. It goes on to say this, our latest patch unfortunately isn't quite ready for release today, as we are continuing to test it, but we are aiming to release it early next week, ideally on a Tuesday. So look out for that patch dropping on Tuesday. I'll have news for you guys when it finally drops. But let's talk about more specifically what is going to be included in this upcoming patch, shall we? So this is what the post goes on to say. It says, here's what you can look forward to as part of this upcoming patch. Improved and faster Xbox sign-in process. I swear they say this in every single patch. We'll see if it's actually true. Now it says improved matchmaking to reduce the chance of matching with an AFK player. This is a good one. It says players that are AFK not interacting with the game for more than 2 minutes will be automatically removed from the matchmaking queue. Interacting with NPCs or configuring skills, mods, or builds is not considered AFK behavior, though being inactive for 2 minutes plus while being in menus or dialogue option is. This is I'm a little bit conflicted on this one. I still consider that somewhat AFK behavior, but it's good that they are implementing some sort of system at the very least. Now it says, improve the visibility of Brood Mother's Surge AoE attack, Blue Flames. Fix the bug whereby Scrap Grenade would stop working after a cinematic or rejoining a session. This one right here is a big one. This has been highly requested for a very long time, and they're finally improving seeing what's going on with the Brood Mother's Surge attack. Now it says resolved an issue with the Technomancer's Baralis set and changed its description to match its new behavior. It says the new item description is increased damage on frozen enemies by X, also critical hit damage is increased by Y for all party members for Z seconds after cold snap usage. And then we also know the old description. Okay, anyway, it says, fixed a bug that could cause the Trickster's Hunt the Prey to get stuck on activating. Another highly requested thing right there. Fixed the bug whereby bleed status from the armor mod, Bloody Crush, would not be inflicted on enemies hit with the Gravity Leap skill. Now, they also fixed the bug whereby the Devastator's Blood Donation class node wouldn't work if the player didn't have other active skill life leech nodes or mods. Clarify the description for the Ravenous Locust mod. Fix a bug whereby dismantling an item might not have displayed the mod preview. They also fixed an important issue that would cause the in-sync accolade to not properly unlock for client players. Also, they fixed an issue that could cause players to not get the proper reward if they complete an expedition during the final second of the reward tier. Other bug and crash fixes. Now they say this patch will also include the below tweak, which can be considered a small rebalance. Please note that this is just a small tweak that required code work and was already ready to be rolled into this patch. Our next patch after this one is intended to have more buffs for all classes. Awesome. So they are currently working on an entire buff rebalance rework, it sounds like. It says rebalance, change the Pryomancer's Healthy Lifestyle mod and change its description to match its new behavior. This change should improve survivability while channeling this skill. The new description is Phaser Beam boost your health regeneration X for skill duration. The old description says Phaser Beam boost your health regeneration by X for Y seconds after the skill ends. So it's skill ends here is the old one, and now it's for the skill duration. Interesting. So yeah, we're going to be also getting some changes to the other classes, which is really cool to hear. I'm always looking out for changes to, of course, my Trickster, most definitely. And then they also include what they're working on currently for upcoming patches, even after this next one that's releasing early next week. They have an ongoing list of currently tracked issues here as well. This one, game stutters when multiple crawlers are on screen, in particular during certain expeditions, issue currently being investigated and will be resolved in a future patch. So this one has been more notable in the community out on the subreddit. You see a lot of threads popping up about that one. So yes, they are going to be looking into that and fixing that, but that's not going to be happening, it doesn't look like, in the patch for early next week. All right, so let's keep going, shall we? So we have a question here from, how do you say this name? illuminate the sky. That's it. And he goes on to ask this, can we get an update from the frame drop stuttering that are still occurring on Stadia? And I'm highlighting this because the response deals with all platforms. It says, it's been months that this is still happening and it's getting really frustrating. How can this game still be sold on Stadia when it runs like complete garbage? The response is, hey there, sorry to hear that. The Stadia version is still being worked upon, but merging it onto the same track as the other platforms is taking longer than expected. When exactly are you experiencing from frame drops? I can check if Stadia is specific or if it's an issue that will be resolved when we bring everything in line. So it sounds like with the Stadia version, they're updating all versions all at once. That's going to be happening with some frame drops with this game. And they're going to be adjusting some of the frame rate issues that are happening with the game. I saw a post here that they're actually adjusting those frame rate issues based on certain areas of the game. I can't find the post right now, but yeah, there are certain areas in particular with this game that have some frame drops that they are going to be adjusting, particularly in more like dense areas that have a lot of NPCs and architecture. So yeah, that's what they're going to be looking to. All right, you know what time it is. One of my favorite parts in the videos. It's time to go over your top comments. So let's do this. Let's see what you guys are saying about Outriders right now, shall we? So let's see what you guys said previously about this video right here. It says, dev team gives new updates about the future of the game. What's next? All right, so you guys had to say this. Pietro says this, let us play through the story missions as if they were expeditions. It would be cool if they had modifiers to the story missions to make them more difficult, and you can add more enemies, or you can mix it up with certain bosses within different areas of the world. I think there's a lot of potential with playing around with the game's systems through modifiers and adding that sort of thing into the game and making it more challenging, which in turn would up the rewards. Fabled Phoenix says this, the network connection they need to somehow switch to dedicated servers because I got on the other day and it was trash. Darius Malone says, change the timers on expeditions. They need a new in-game loop option outside of a DPS race. So yeah, that's one of the biggest issues facing Outriders currently that definitely needs to be adjusted going forward. They need to make some changes to those expeditions. I think we all know that. So hopefully we hear some word about that one. They said it's probably one of the most challenging things that they face right now in terms of actually adjusting things in the back end and through patches. Holland says, I really wish this was a live service game. Wow, they made the game that made some people that didn't want it to be a live service game want it to become one. I have seen so many articles from the press, even from the community, saying the same thing, that they wish this one had been a live service game. It's kind of a bummer, honestly, because I really enjoy the game and they've gotten it into such a state that right now it would be perfect for a live service game. The good news is that it has been confirmed that they are working on big DLC and content coming up for this game. It's not going to be like small drops and free DLC and things like that. We're going to be getting a proper expansion, which I'm personally excited for. But let's keep going here. We have Verenda, I think it is, who says the following. I got the Darkness Charmer, the only weapon that I need to make 46 cool. Joel says, buff the Pyro legendary sets. I would love to use something besides an Akari build. So we'll see if that's part of the buffs that are coming up here. Panero's Gaming says, I've had 42 out of 43 achievements since week 3 of release considering a Pyro. Nice. Norris says, I got my second appreciated weapon, and of course it's garbage again. I'll never use. LOL. Wow, it's just luck of the draw, I guess. English Dave says, I found my God Roll weapon from the redo today. I already had it, so much for a revamp. Yikes. Azira says, game needs more content. I appreciate the fixes, but the replayability's not there for me. Yeah, at this point, it's going to need more content. ZL1480 Power says, I finally managed to clear tier 15 today, and the extra legendary loot drop chances have been great. I'm still hunting for the Akari chest piece and Death Shield. We need more content soon, hopefully, or expansions. Playing the same 12 or so expeditions is starting to get boring. It's definitely interesting tactic that they had releasing all the expeditions at once. You know, they could have done the approach of drip feeding that sort of content, like having 4 of the expeditions available at the start and then drip feeding the rest throughout the year up until, of course, the DLC. So they did have that option. They just actually decided, nope, we're going to release everything all at once. And, you know, I'm glad that they actually released everything all at once, of course. But yeah, hopefully with this new DLC that they're working on, that it's really big and that it really pleases fans. It's good to know that the current systems are being worked on and improving greatly, and they're setting up for success for the future of their DLC. So that's awesome. But thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more Outriders updates and content, and I will see you all next time. Take care.